Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina. I'm your host, Tina Thompson, and I have as my guest, one of my guests this week, Jim Marshall. He is Community Services Officer as well as DARE Officer, but he's not been doing a whole lot of the DARE thing here in the last few months with the Lancaster Police Department. And speaking of the last few months, I have to tell you, it was right when everything had started. It was right before that. My daughter and I were starting to work out a little bit and doing some things, and she goes, "Oh mom," she goes, "these are awesome running pants," because it was still cooler at that time. And I go, "Really?" And she told me where to go and get them, so I bought a couple of pair. Well, then after this all happened and I started working from home, I was literally washing them every other day because I could wear one pair one day and one the next. I didn't get out of it. So when folks would say they would put on clothes and they would be a little tighter, like their jeans and stuff, I'm totally right there, right along with you, because I don't want to say it had nothing to do, but my brain is always going, but it was kind of like I really had nothing to do. And with that being said, Jim Marshall, as we were talking before, not that you guys don't have anything to do, but you're a community services officer, so what's been happening?
Really not a whole lot. All we've really been doing in the community services unit is just sort of running back up to our patrol units when they need stuff. A couple weeks ago, we did a directed patrol where I was out on the bike path and was checking on stuff there. And then our community services sergeant, Sergeant Simon Hall, a couple weeks ago put together a video for the graduating seniors from Lancaster High School and Fisher Catholic that the whole police department participated in. It was really cool. So we just try and stay busy, and our patrol officers are still working, but in community services, things have slowed way down because we had to cancel so many things.
Well, I like that you did mention the bike path, and I hope it's okay to ask you, what can you tell folks for who want to go out and that are using it on a regular basis? Because there is the social distancing, and I'm sure because they want to get out, especially with the way the weather has been warmer, some days too hot. What do you recommend as far as, I guess, safety for the citizens of Lancaster and those surrounding the area that come to the bike path?
It's the same thing I tell everybody. If you're going to walk or you're going to run, especially if you're by yourself, don't wear earbuds. Know your surroundings, know what you can hear. Keep an eye out if anything's strange. Don't be afraid to call the police. But the best thing is to walk with somebody else. I was out, like I said, a couple weeks ago, and I only ran across about a half a dozen people, but they were all in groups. So it was good that they had somebody else with them. And that's the biggest thing, is just don't go out by yourself.
Yeah, I like that. My daughter and I jog, but she, of course, is many years younger than I am. So I'm yelling as I'm trying to breathe and I'm running to catch up with her. Slow down, because she'll be wanting to go around corners. This isn't the bike path, but she'll want to go around corners. And I'm like, no. But I do have to tell you something. I love to run and listen to music. But something that I've always done with my earbuds is I'll have one in and the other out. And if my ear is to the road, I always am, and it's never too loud, right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on. Do you still kind of like, I don't know about that? You just want to be smart about it?
You do, but it bothers me when I see single females running with earbuds in, especially in certain places. I know I like to bicycle, obviously. I'm wearing my bike patrol uniform, but I have a speaker on my bike. So that way I can hear what's going on around me. And I know they make those for runners that'll wear around your neck, which I don't expect everybody to go out and get those, but it's just a safety thing, so you can hear cars or if people are coming up behind you and things like that.
Very nice. I like that. Thank you for that information. So you all do have a Facebook page, and,
yes.
And you're doing videos and different things like that are really positive to help with the community with stuff, right?
Yes. So towards the end of the school year, my partner and I, Chuck Sims, he put together a Facebook video for all of his DARE graduates that he had, because we did all of our DARE graduations in the fall, but then he had Fairfield Christian this spring. So those kids didn't get to have their last couple classes and graduate. So he put a Facebook message out to everybody, a little video, saying, hey, good luck with the summer, have a good time. And then a couple weeks ago, he actually went out and hand-delivered to each and every one of his graduates from Fairfield Christian their T-shirt and their graduation certificate. So that was really, really cool. That was something that he really went out of his way to do, and it just kind of shows how much he cares. Fortunately, I didn't have to do that because I had already done my graduations. But then we also got the police department involved a couple weeks ago again in the fifth grade clap out. Which all the elementary schools, when the fifth graders leave, usually all the students line the hallways and they clap the kids out as they leave. So I was at Mount Pleasant Elementary and I had a ball. I think we had 55 vehicles, some with multiple kids in them. that all those kids got to come through, and all the teachers stood outside and honked for them and waved and clapped and made signs, and it was really, really a neat event.
So it's just like with everything else, there have been adjustments that have needed to be made in order to let, especially our youth and our
Correct.
kids, know that we still care.
Yep, and we're making the best of a bad situation. But I know Shannon Burke, the principal at Mount Pleasant Elementary, she was really impressed with the whole thing, and she was really excited, and she was like, this is the best thing that's happened in a couple months, and it was a really positive event. And so that's what we're trying to get out there and do positive things, because people need to smile.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, right. That's one of those things. I'm trying to not watch the news, and I don't even get on social media a whole lot, which is funny because that's what I do.
Right.
I mean, that's my positive thing. But I'm picky in particular with who I have and who I follow and what I see, because I really think that it will bring me down. So a lot of times, once again, I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I like to listen to music most of the time. That's where I get my good feel. So when you see this lady going down and driving, and I'm just listening or singing and dancing and stuff, that's because I'm just keeping that positive mindset the best that I can.
But here's the cool thing about modern technology is, I know when I first started driving, you'd be sitting in traffic and you look over at somebody and like, are they talking to themselves? Or are they singing to themselves? But now with Bluetooth and everything, people do talk in the car, so nobody thinks about it anymore.
Oh yeah, but if I'm doing this, I'm probably not.
Who cares?
I'm dancing and talking to my best friend, yeah.
Just tell somebody you're making a TikTok video, you're good to go.
TikTok, that's funny. No, I've not ventured out to that yet. So you guys just did a video for the graduating class, is that what you said? Yes.
They're the weekend that the seniors were supposed to graduate. Like I said, Sergeant Simon Hall from the Community Services Unit spent 2 weeks taking footage from all the officers in the department and some of our civilian employees, and put together just a nice video that kind of started off a little somber, talked about how prom was canceled, graduation was canceled, all that stuff. But then it got into...
I'm like, it did. At one point I started bawling over it.
It's like I said, I got a little teared up a little bit at the end of it, because it was kind of neat, because myself and it's now Lieutenant Chris Caton, but he was Dare Officer Chris Caton forever. We were partners for 10 years. All of those kids that graduated this year, whether it be from Fairfield Christian, St. Mary's, Fisher Catholic, or Lancaster, had one of us as a Dare officer. Yeah. So we did kind of a final little thing telling kids we were proud of them and, good luck in the future and all that. And
nice.
It was a really good video, and Sergeant Hall did a really good job.
Nice.
We've gotten a lot of good feedback about it.
Well, good. So positive things continuing to go on at the Lancaster Police Department. One more question.
Sure.
Your favorite down home moment?
Okay, so I know that Corey Schoonover is one of your frequent guests. Corey and I have known each other since we were little kids, and because the reason we have known each other is because I grew up next door to his grandfather, Bob Schoonover. Bob's one of the greatest men I've ever known in my life. But he was a grandpa when I was 7 years old, and I was basically his Dennis the Menace.
I love it.
He was really into outdoorsy stuff. He had an apple orchard, he had a pond, had a greenhouse, so I would go over on Saturday mornings and basically knock on the door and ask his wife, could Mr. Schoonover come out and play? And he would take me out in the apple orchard and he would show me how to fish. And he was one of those men that I will never forget.
I love it.
Because my grandparents lived in Cincinnati, so they were way far away. So Mr. Schoonover, just always has a place in my heart.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
I love it. Okay, so Jim, Lancaster Police Department Community Services and Dare Officer, what is your website for folks to continue to follow the positive and maybe news things that you might have on the LPD Facebook?
Really, all you have to do is just Google the Lancaster, Ohio Police Department, and when our webpage comes up, the Facebook link is right there.
Awesome.
So you can actually scroll through and see what we've done. And as far as I know, nothing else has been posted since that video. I'm sure there has. I haven't looked at it in a while. But yeah, if you just Google Lancaster, Ohio Police Department, it's right there on the front of our webpage.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the
Thanks for
time
having
to be
me,
with
Tina. Appreciate
me.
it.
And folks, don't get me wrong, I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you, we're going to have another guest, of course, and I'm going to tell you why we're not sitting in my regular set for the show. I'll be back in a minute. It's Downhill with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. Karen Kraft Crutcher is with me. She is co-owner of Bay Food Market, located over on Walnut
Maple
Street.
and Walnut.
Walnut and Maple. Yep, on the corner right there. You can't miss it. It is one of those places that I have known since I was just a youngster. My grandmother lived just a few blocks away from it, and we used to walk down there with Mom and hand in hand also with my sister and get that penny candy. That is just one of my favorite memories as a kid, and always excited. We probably about drove my mom crazy, Karen.
I see that. We get a lot of that, and we still have the individual penny candy, but it's not a penny anymore. But
well,
we still
two,
sell
right? It's okay.
Most of it's 2 cents. Some of it's a little more. Just depends on what you get. But
That's right.
The kids still like it, and they think it's fun. So
it's fantastic. It's just so much a part of being a kid is
Yeah.
getting that candy and the special little treat of saving your little pennies to go down to the Bay
Right.
Food Market and get it. So please share with everybody a little bit of the history, because I know before we got started, I had asked you to make sure, because I often hear it said differently. The name is Bay Food Market, correct?
correct, Bay Food Market.
Yes.
And then we also have Bay Packing.
Yes.
So, my parents bought it from Hugh Bay, and when he operated it, it was Possessive Bay's Food Market and
Yeah.
Bay's Packing. And then after my parents bought it, then we dropped the apostrophe S and just operate as Bay Food Market and Bay Packing.
Yeah, it's much easier to just keep the name.
Yeah, to keep the name and reputation.
That's
Dad,
right.
Dad worked for Hugh for a lot of years.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's generational. It sounds like, yeah, right?
Yep.
It went from what you thought your grandfather, and then your
My
dad, and then you, or
yeah, my mom's dad worked there at the same time that my dad did, and then Mom and Dad bought it from Hugh. So
do you think it's kind of like in the blood a little bit as to
A
why
little
it
bit.
kind of steered you that way?
yeah,
A little bit.
a little bit.
I love it. So, how has this process with everything that's been going on with the pandemic and COVID-19 for you all at Bay Food Market? Because you guys kept open. You kept going. You had a lot of different rules to follow. That were,
Yeah, there's a lot of new rules. The social distancing was a little difficult to figure out how to get the maximum amount of people in our little store and, not around the block. We had quite a run on the meat boxes that we finally had to stop taking orders for them because we were so far behind.
Wow.
So at one point we had over 150 orders, and they're about halfway through them at this time. And still maintaining the regular walk-in customers.
What do you ask of your customers when you are backed up like that? What do you ask of them?
Mostly the social distancing.
Yeah.
There's tape spots on the floor, and then if that one right there at the door is full, then please wait outside or come back.
I have to tell you, this is a really funny story. I was going to share it earlier in the show. I'm so glad that I waited for you, because I seriously think this is the day. So my dad calls me up, and he couldn't go out a whole lot. This was a good over a month ago or so. And I had my mask, of course. And so he wanted 6 pounds, a pound wrapped individually, freezer wrap, mind you, and it's busy. I mean, there are a lot of people there. You don't know how bad I felt asking this too, but I was like, I said,
We get it all the time.
It's for my dad, and he wanted it, per pound, freezer wrapped, and all of this stuff, and specific 90-10. So, and he asked me, do you know what that means? I was like, yes, Dad, I know what that means. It was a sweet thing for him to ask, just to make sure I knew, so I didn't act like I knew what I was talking about at the meat counter, because last thing you want to be. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about.
There's a lot of people that don't, but they get what they need.
Still don't. Yeah, and you guys are there to educate us, right? Here.
Yeah, that's part of the job, part of the reason we're full service.
That's right. So you had your markers. I show up, and it's raining that day, and there's 7 people out the door, and I had my mask on. Now, through all of this, okay, so I'm just laughing. I'm like, this is going to be a good sport. I've learned about patience through this whole process.
Yeah.
So I get home that day. This is completely not even meat related. So I get home that day, and I take off my mask. Do you know what I have on my face? I have been drinking a lot of Crystal Light. I had the Kool-Aid mustache on my face. And though I don't like wearing the mask, I was like, oh, thank you God I had to wear that today. I'd have been so embarrassed if I'd have got home and
saw
I got
that.
the red Kool-Aid mask on my face. But I think that was that day. But you had that social distancing, and people just kept on coming.
Yeah.
So it hasn't hurt you guys business-wise, has it?
It has not hurt us business-wise. It's actually helped us, and we hope that some people that have found us during this time will continue to come back.
Perfect. What else do you offer other than just the meat? Because you offer like a grocery store.
Yeah, we are just an old-fashioned corner market. We have, all the regular groceries, just not 9 different types of the same thing.
Yeah.
So
you have. Do you guys are you doing cheese trays and things like that? Party trays.
Still doing party trays.
Well,
and we actually have people that are ordering them because it's easier for them to take care of their kids that way. They order the vegetable trays bagged up, then they don't have to try to prepare that at home while trying to take care of the kids, and then they can still feed the kids good fruits and vegetables.
Nice. So what has been your very favorite part about being co-owner at Bay Food Market?
I enjoy meeting people, talking to people.
Yeah.
So I do the Facebook part of it, so I get to interact with our customers that way.
Okay. Do you have specials going on?
No.
Right now. Will you have any time soon? Because
probably not.
You don't need to.
Well,
you don't need to.
Not that we just don't need to. It's hard to keep track of it. It's hard for our staff. They're busy enough without trying to remember what is actually on sale. And what a lot of people don't realize, those print ads are done 30, 45 days ahead of when they actually come out.
Okay.
There's no way to say what we can do then.
Well, I have to tell you, this is so funny. So my dad did call me. He just called me yesterday, and he says, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm making cookies for my show. Don't let me forget to give you some cookies." And we'll talk about your baked goods too that you have at the store. And I said, "Just baking cookies for my show tomorrow, Dad." He's like, "Great. Guess what? I'm getting Spectre next week. I can start watching your show." I was like, "That's awesome." I go, "How funny?" Because he says, "Can you do me a favor tomorrow?" I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "Can you go to Bay and give me 6 pounds, refrigerator wrapped, individually valued 90/10?" And I was like, "Dad, that is so funny. I am having Karen on my show tomorrow." He said, "So absolutely." He goes, "Well, isn't that neat?" Anyway,
that's great.
Baked foods. I am not like a baker or decorator, but you have a gal locally who does that.
We actually have 2.
You have 2 now.
Lisa Morris Buzzard Morris is bringing in cakes, and then we get baked goods every other week from Margaret's Heritage Kitchen, which is an Amish lady out of Bremen. So she brings stuff in every other Friday.
Oh, is she the one that has something out there as well in that area? Because there's other places out there too. I didn't know if it was the same
I don't
one.
know if she has an actual
both.
shop as much as she does it, and then she has somebody bring it to us.
There's nothing like those kinds of pies.
Oh, those pies are good. And the cakes are fantastic. So.
Oh yeah. Lisa's. That's what my son's graduation cake was from Lisa. So yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I've got to make sure that we talk a little bit about the baked goods because during COVID we don't really care about the weight or anything like that.
I understand.
I think I ate a whole blackberry pie one week that came from the Amish. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk with Karen a little more because, grilling is big and popular these days, especially with the 4th of July coming up. I'm not a griller. Got a story about that one. It's not so pretty. We'll be back. It's Down Home with Tina.
Hi, I'm Amanda Wattenberg, Regional Director at Ohio Guidestone. Do you or does someone you know have a substance abuse disorder? Have you been thinking about getting help, but don't know where to start? It takes a lot of courage to ask for help, but it's the most important step you can take. If you think you know everything that's available in Fairfield County, think again. Like other chronic diseases, addiction can be managed successfully. Treatment enables people to counteract addiction's powerful, disruptive effects on the brain's behavior and regain control of their lives. Even if it takes multiple attempts, treatment does work and people do recover from addiction every day. So keep trying because your life matters. You matter, and we're here to help. Call 211 and ask for the treatment resources available right here in Fairfield County.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. Karen Kraft, Crutcher, is with me today. She is co-owner of Bay Food Market on the corner of Walnut and Maple Street. I don't know why. I always forget about Maple, and that's the main road going across Main Street. That's the one that I always hit.
Yeah, the address is 301 South Maple, but however you get there.
That's right. Yeah. Walnut keeps coming to mind. But anyways, I am not a griller, Karen. I am just learning. I bought my first little grill, and a couple of weeks ago, actually, I hurt my back because I decided I was going to move it, and it has wheels, but you can't move easily. Why I kept the propane tank on it, I'm learning lessons. Like, I'm always learning. So that's my down home tip this week. Don't move a grill on grass with wheels by yourself with a propane tank on it. You will hurt your back, because I'm still living through that healing of that whole process. But I made chicken, and it was just not good. I am not a grill master by any means. As a matter of fact, we did get a couple of steaks, my daughter and I, for Mother's Day, and she grilled them perfect. They were perfect. But what kind of grilling tips do you have for folks who, well, grilling for anything, but especially because the 4th of July is coming up, and I'm sure they'll have family gatherings.
Right. The main thing is don't overcook it. You can always put it back on the grill. Once it's overcooked, you can't undo that.
So these one chicken breasts that I bought were frozen, because I thought somebody once told me they're the easiest to cook on the grill. So I thought I'd thaw them out. So I put them in the microwave, and I went back and maybe 2 minutes later, cooked them all the way through. So I tried to save them. I was on the phone with my cousin from North Carolina, and she said, maybe what you can do is put them in barbecue sauce and put them in the oven. This was after I tried to give a grill taste with the grill.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's no going
There's
back.
No going
There's
back.
no amount of barbecue sauce that was saving those.
No. And the big thing with meat is a lot of people don't realize it will continue to cook once you take it off of the heat.
Okay.
So you, especially with steaks, you want to take them off a little before it's at the doneness that you prefer, because they will continue to heat through and cook out.
What is the safest temperature when using a meat thermometer for steak? Because I know some people like it almost mooing, is what I call it.
That's personal preference.
So yeah, okay. But chicken, you got to be safe with
chicken
that.
Is I believe it's 165 now, but better Google it to make sure.
If you do not have a meat thermometer, you've got to get one, right? Do you really recommend, unless you like your chicken really well done? Chicken breast is hard to grill. Well,
chicken breast is hard to grill, but you can, once you undercook it and look at what it looks like and the texture, and then once you get it cooked, you can tell the difference, and you'll know. It looks that you'll know.
You'll know. I don't know, because I don't even know if I've ever actually cooked it well enough for it to be done, and I need to get a meat thermometer. I've known that for a long time. I've needed to. So I've got one more question for you.
Yep.
What is one of your favorite down-home moments, and do you have one? You know, and it could be of any time, when you're a kid, when you're older. Anything.
I don't know that I ever have any real favorite moments of things. I just take life every day as it goes.
Yeah, and just enjoy it. And then if you laugh, you laugh. If you learn something from it, you learn something from it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Seriously, it's one of those things where I had to stop and think what my favorite moment was, because I think for many years I was just doing the same, but there are some that
stand out.
But I don't remember a whole lot of them. I think it's because I have a whole lot of them. I'll just go with that.
I have more than you, so.
Oh, not. I'm sure not by many years or more.
Just a few.
Just a little bit. What is your contact information for anybody, and your website and all of that?
Okay. The store is located at 301 South Maple Street, 740-653-9606. Website is bayfoodmarket.com. We are on Facebook, and our hours are on Facebook, and because we're temporarily changed our hours, so it's usually 8 to 6 Monday through Saturday, closed at noon on Thursday, and closed on Sunday. We're currently closing on Thursday and Sunday to try to catch up on the meat box orders.
Sure, yeah. Now, as holidays come, and I hope to have you back before then, folks will still be able to order their turkey and ham and things like that.
We're going to continue to service the customers the best we can.
Perfect. All right. Anybody have a question? Can they call you guys? Or?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Your phone number?
740-653-9606.
As always, it has been a great pleasure to have you. I always love having Karen on. I love having local businesses just to share some awesome tips about things, of what the right thing to do and what not to do, because I don't always do the right thing. But I thank you again, Karen. Thank you all for listening, and I will be back. I've got a little message for you. It's Down Home with Tina.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. Down Home with Tina is brought to you by some great folks in our community. I want to thank Huddle Tire Company, also Walker's Shoe Center, and Fairfield Area Humane Society. If you'd like to check them out, you are always welcome to go to my website, downhomewithtina.com. Also, my shows air every week on my Facebook page, Down Home with Tina. Also, CLN, Your Hometown Connection on YouTube, and Spectrum 1021, or CLN, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. I want to just let you all know, all of this that's been going on has given me a chance to just think about what I want Down Home with Tina to be and become. And it's really been great because it's kind of like one of those things where I opened up new doors, is what I guess I'll call it, for me to be able to have different guests. I want Down Home with Tina to be everything down home. I want to bring things to you, maybe like fashion tips, not because I'm a fashionista by any means, but there are quite a few fashionistas out there that they can come on and help us, what the trends are, what's going on, maybe the different trends in hairstyles, and what it's been like also for some of those hairstylists and folks throughout the community at this time, all in a form of a positive perspective. I want to talk about everything down home. Maybe we'll get to talk about landscaping. I bought a new home recently, and maybe I could get an expert to give me some tips. I have a friend of mine who, she had a flower shop at one time, so she helps me with the flowers, and just because what I'm doing in my life I want to bring to you as well. I think that's what Down Home is about. It all begins at home. And with every guest, I'm going to try to get out of them a favorite down home moment from them, if they're willing to be open enough to share those with me, because that's where we learn lessons, we live, and we learn to love, I think. And so once again, I hope that you will continue on this journey with me that I call this crazy journey that we call life as we get through all of this together. Change is constantly happening and going on in our lives, I think. A lot of people do better with change than others do. I think that I like change to a certain degree. But I think one of the things in my life, and this will be my positive quote for you today, is that we have no control over the choices that other people make. And I've learned that a lot, especially when you have kids. I think that's the first time that you learn it. But anyways, y'all, you can also follow me with my website. I've got a podcast. I'm really excited to be able to offer a different avenue. So if you're driving and you want to hear one of me and one of my guests in a topic that we're talking about, you can follow that through my website, downhomewithtina.com. And then also I'm going to have a blog. And I have a really fun story on my blog that happens to be about my grandmother, and it's called Go Faster, Go Faster. I don't want to ruin the story and give it away to you, but I would love for you to go on and check that out as well. Again, life is just full of all kinds of different things. We have our ups and our downs, and here at Down Home with Tina, I just want to bring you cheer and joy, especially through the times that don't seem to be so negative. Just be happy and hang in there. We're going to get through this together, and I will be back with you next week. I hope you have a good one. God bless. Good day.